Today is the first Sunday of September of 2023. It is the Sunday of Labor Day weekend. We're just prior to Labor Day now, Sunday evening. I'm recording this. In a previous video, I believe it's a previous video, sometimes I make these out of order compared to what you end up seeing when it's uploaded onto the YouTube playlist. But in essence, there should be a video probably stuck before this that goes into the summaries of what happened during meetings number 1 and number 2 that my mom and I, along with our witness Anthony, got to have together thus far. We didn't record either of those meetings. I was very close to openly and clearly recording those meetings, but both times, the first time my mom kind of, see, anytime you listen to the woman, again, you get turned the wrong way. So it's such a strong rule of life, it's actually unbelievable. Literally, if every man listened to every woman who ever spoke and then did the exact opposite, when it doesn't come to controversial matters, there's times when women can happen to be aligned correctly, and because they're good, loving, so they're normally calibrated and they're sensible. If there's a disagreement between a man and a woman, if you adopt the policy of always ignoring what the woman says and always doing what the man does as general policy, almost without exception across the board, all of humanity, every human being, every human male, every human female, the standard of living will shoot through the roof. If everybody, everything will run correctly all the way, you have no idea. So I'm more and more presence to this amazing fact the longer we go through all the crap in life. With high caliber, high receptor density observation of what's really going on, you pick up a lot real fast, and this is one of the stunning truths of life. But anyway, let's stay on topic. I didn't record either of those meetings, so we had to do a little summarization of what happened. Both me and Anthony were witnesses to what happened. We could have gotten my mom's input, but this video or set of videos here will explain exactly why that's not happening right now. Very interesting developments, and people show their true nature. Don't they always? Very funny. Very funny. They don't care if they're sick, because the sick don't see themselves as sick. Get it? No matter how many times you tell them, here's the moral principles, here's what God says, here's what right and wrong is, here's what brings indignation to people versus what dignifies them. That's why you do this one and not that one. It's like they pretend they don't understand the same language as you. I don't know how that's possible. It's some kind of mental thing or a conditioning thing, a mix of factors. Well, here we are, it's Sunday night. What happened today? We were supposed to have meeting number 3. But instead of a meeting number 3, within less than 24 hours remaining, what Anthony ended up telling me earlier today, Sunday morning, was that yesterday he reached out to my mom, Barbara. He does most of the talking between her and him to relay what's going on to me, and I'll relay to him and he'll relay to my mom. That's how bad and broken down things have gotten. There's all sorts of reasons why. I could scroll up on this very screen here where there's the text convo between me and her to show why these breakdowns keep happening. I haven't done a video covering a particular recent instance in July here where I had to explain to her, she's done a bad job, stop insulting the dignity of grown men, it's a sin to do so. So if you see that in bold letters from your son, it should cause internal crumbling breakdowns all the way, except if you're a personality disorder. Then it doesn't phase you. Then you just mindlessly knock your dumb bull head across anything that's in your way. You're bonk, 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 dumbly fucking thinking 100 layers too deep the wrong way. You still think you're going the right way. It's disgusting. There's a whole shitload from July Haven't done a video on this. Gave my mom a chance by doing light interaction with her again. She keeps showing why it's the wrong thing to do it. Because if you're bad, you're always bad. Meaning, when a real bad person is bad, they actually are bad. They can't help but re-fuck you and screw you in the brain. Your dignity. Anyway, we move on. So, Anthony's ready for the meeting for today. Meeting number 2 didn't go quite as well as meeting number 1, although it was better at showing the true nature of people. So actually, in the real sense, it was kind of better because it was less pomp and circumstance and more of the real ugliness of truth, which is good. You always want correct truth to show so that you can catalyze through the system that we need to move through faster. Good. Now, so let's establish what the basis is of understanding. Here I am. We're ready. What did I do in preparation for this third meeting? Well, I knew I drank a lot of coffee for the second meeting. I decided, which is very rare for me, I cut off coffee for 7 days straight. Now I took coffee after the meeting was canceled. Yeah, unbelievable. You'll see why. I prepared a lot of notes, did a lot of deep thinking. The second meeting wasn't quite as structured. You know, it went off the rails a little bit. There's a lot of emotional stuff back and forth. But nevertheless, my mom and I very clearly said, okay, we're definitely committed to a third meeting. For sure, yeah, okay, good. And this was confirmed, apparently, according to Anthony, once again by Saturday, which is less than 24 hours before the meeting. So that's it. Unless you have a genuine emergency, if you're in a coma or dead or really going through something that's unique, you might have an excuse. Otherwise, your ass had better be there. It goes for everybody. It's a respect thing. So, you know, and then my mom, in addition, was urged, she says, listen, so that we make the best of our meeting this Sunday, what's going to happen is that, you know, probably she should write down some things and she'll have her points. And I told myself I'm also going to do something similar. So we're all going to have a lot more points, so it'll help keep the organizational flow moving a lot better. So I was very excited. I said, good, we're going to have a much more organized meeting, and I was very excited for this organized meeting. Beautiful. And whether or not it's always a work in progress, so whether or not you're actually always fully finished is another thing. My list is never complete because it's always being added to as we continue to remember things and recall things like that, and then we add on and on like that. Probably for the same thing. So she seemed at the end of the second meeting to commit substantially to possibly reviewing much, if not most, of the entire playlist. Pretty commendable, right? In order to examine what was said. But the thing is, as was probably covered in the previous video, if there is one, I'm assuming there'll be a previous video that covers the summaries for meetings 1 and 2. Meeting 2, I don't know, I can't remember. I have these things, brain memory issues, severe. Well, I mean, moderately severe. I've seen what severe is, that's Alzheimer's. But I can't remember what the hell I was supposed to do. The thought just crumpled itself within my brain as I was expressing it. I don't know what happened. I have no idea what I was talking about. Okay. Where are we? What are we doing? It's not a joke. Go check out my Craigslist post about how I have a hole in my fucking head practically and I need fucking help with this shit. Not a joke. Reaching out to strangers on Craigslist to help me if I have to pay them money to help me get a radiologist because my own family's fucking, to me, they're fucking pieces of shit. How they actually are. No loyalty or love or familial bond. They betray the bond for their sense to be right. So kill yourselves for it. Get it? God says love each other, and that's the obligation. Not be right and then you're going to be divided because you forgot that you're delusional and you're blind. Jesus says wipe the gook from your eye and then you can see straight to help other people with the crap in their eye. Wake up, blind people. But the blind keep thinking they can see. So it's very funny stuff. Very funny indeed. So, well, so she agreed to review many of the videos, and she thinks she's in the right still. Very interesting. A different tone than the first meeting, where she seemed more understanding and compassionate, empathetic. Whatever the hell's wrong with her thyroid probably is messing up her whole hormonal system. So she just became a vitriolic monster dragon without realizing she is one. So she should curb herself. No, she just thinks she's God now, instead of realizing, oh, there's a hormonal imbalance. That's why I don't realize I'm different, but I'm actually very different and worse of a human being. I should stop that. No, none of that occurs to this one. So it'll just be shown in front of everybody, then everyone else gets to point at her and say, he's right, you are crap. Only way these people learn. So, you know, she's imagining that she's going to bolster her position well. She did do such a good job. Well, you know, the video previously will say what it says. So we're waiting for that. But we're all, hopefully, only good people proceed in good faith. Remember that. Bad people proceed in bad faith. Get it? Well, after once postponing a meeting without merit, gravely upsetting me and Anthony, where we finally had her admit she was irresponsible for doing so, that it wasn't the right call, that she wouldn't, and we told her, and Buddy told me, you will not be doing this again. If you compromise this again, we warned her expressly. It's just like that time, warned expressly, don't do anything to take my grandpa to my home. Well, that's exactly the same day that he will be taken later. I didn't do anything wrong. He was my loving grandpa. I just thought that one day, finally, I'm like, you know, it's been a few weeks since there's problems, but she's getting a little argumentative today. It just came from me from out of the blue. I'm like, oh, by the way, I had a feeling just to say it. Don't know why. So funny how I read things from the clouds. So don't compromise my grandpa's position. That'd be disgusting. Don't ever do it. The next day, that's, if I say don't do it, that's her signal to do it. So she has opposite programming. This opposite of what God says. God says man commands something. You show a loving regard for what the man has stated as word, because what God is to man is to woman. Do you understand that? Let me say that again so that you understand it. What God is to man, God is God to us. Man is God to woman, practically speaking. Get it? So instead of regarding the man, she says, I will purposely do the opposite, and then act like it's, moreover, act like, of course I am. I'm supposed to. I'm God. Oh, the seeking of power never ends when you're sick in the head. It just really disgusts me. It really all is just very disgusting to me. I should be 30-something videos in a giant playlist where there's still no fucking mommy to love you, you piece of shit. You understand the fucking shit? That's the first thing that makes you human, you fucking idiots. If you get robbed of that, you're nothing. You have to build yourself up and be a clay man for life, made of dust, that's never invigorated. Stupid idiots. Your mom curses you when she's fucking too defective to be normal. Everyone else's mommies love them. What the fuck happened? Fucking idiots. Every person in the mental ward has a huge fucking problem with their mother. That's not a coincidence. Almost every person outside of the mental ward does not have that. What an amazing coincidence. What's the cause, therefore? A mom who doesn't love her children causes dysfunction in their children because of the lack of love she gave them. Who's responsible for it, therefore? The mother. Of course. Curse all mothers who are so sick, for they should have known better and cultivated within themselves correctly and followed the moral law according to God. Free these victims, true victims. Just want to say, what kind of atonement are you making? One minute you say, yeah, it was wrong. And then the next minute, it's now a couple hours or so, a few hours before the meeting that was supposed to happen earlier today at noon. Here's what she texts. Hi. I'm telling you, today's meeting will be rescheduled until next week. Oh my God, did she get in a car accident? Is she dead? What happened? Due to some substantial changes. Oh, okay, psycho shit. Here we go. Sorry about it, but there is a better way to do it. It reads like a supervillain. I'm the wrongdoers being made videos about, yet I never realized how sorry I'm supposed to be, so I'm gonna fucking tell you how frame control. I'm telling you what's the better way to do it. You, the victim, will continue being the slave obeying me. You get it? That's the grasp. You're clinging for power and frame control, you idiots, when you don't deserve it. That's why God keeps shitting on you. Because you keep trying to tell grown men how to do things. Who asked you for your permission, stupid? That your lack of love is your biggest curse. Because you're guilty of it, you trip yourself up karmically. And then God cuts your head off, metaphorically speaking. Good. And then ask Anthony for details. Thank you. Sorry, but Anthony took out time from his day to do the normal things, to set up for this and to prepare. I took a lot of time and energy to prepare for this. She was agreed by her word. Word is bond, of course, as they say, if you're in honor and a creditor mentality, but not if you're a debtor type. Did Anthony or I consent to just have her unilaterally come in and do whatever she wants and cancel for us? She's a normal person, normal programming, empathic, loving, good faith wiring. What would they do? Oh, well, they would come and ask you if you feel it's okay that they do this. They would suggest it, they petition you. Right, yes, of course, of course. Good, that's obvious. Is this a petitioning, or this is, I will tell you what to do? Wow, last minute, huh? Funny, within 24 hours, just the very evening or day prior, apparently she said we were fine. This is what Anthony told me. This isn't good. What happens next? Turning to the conversation I had with Anthony that very morning, just about as soon as I saw that, shocked. And generally following a policy that I don't really directly communicate with her. That's a smart one. It's designed to preserve as much peace as can be preserved within a contentious overall dynamic. Those responsible for it are owed morally to pay repentance. That's it. What is the moral standard? Well, that's what the moral law is. That's the standard. There's no way around it, guys. Never forget it. It's very simple once you wrap your head around it. I talk to highly programmed AIs online and talk to them all day long about it. They understand. So why don't humans? Looks like you will be serving your masters soon then, huh? Well, I turn to Anthony. I say, hey, bro, shared with him immediately the screenshot of what she sent me that you saw already. Going back to the conversation, I'm like adding the question marks, as in, what the hell are we being fed here? This crap? What does he respond with? Just about immediately afterwards? A text that she sent to him, of course. Let's see what it says. She writes to him in the morning. Hi. What I will do is to deliver my responses in writing to you and him today. I will leave one copy for him on the door. Okay, why? What is it? Who made this up? Why is this sensible? And give you another. I'm not even home by that point in the morning, so it doesn't even occur to her to check, because she's 60-something. Her mind's already half fried, and she doesn't even realize it. Then me and I, which makes no sense also, mind's fried again, could meet in the front of our building at noon today, or tomorrow. So not only now it's her and somebody, probably she was referring to Anthony, not only just reserving the time for that day, maybe it's today, maybe come tomorrow, maybe we'll use up your time tomorrow. Not that I asked you whether you want to, I'm just telling you to do that. So already the disrespectful shit starts, which is blowing his mind. This is again her writing to Anthony, to give you my responses. It's kind of strange. So did we agree to this platform, this paradigm, this modality? No. Okay. So why isn't she first asking us if we want to do this? Now, it doesn't occur to her to do that. She just tells you what to do. You're not a human being. You're just a chess piece on the chessboard that she owns in her mind. Everything is, all of reality is hers. Don't you get it? No meeting will take place today. So I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. Since, you see, I want you both to be familiar with all the answers. Yeah. Wait. It could take us 5 minutes to read down whatever you wrote on a piece of paper, and then we were sitting there together the way we're supposed to be, as we're committed to already, to talk about it, instead of delaying it a week. So none of this makes sense. And since I want you to both be familiar with all the answers to the videos, we'll be familiar because we read it on the spot. And then moreover, I can respond to it immediately on the spot. I don't need a week to think. Then she has these elaborate ideas that no one asked her to make them for us. If you're the wrong repentant, you're supposed to be the repentant wrongdoer. What's the ultimate sick thing to do? Is to try to regain frame control by doing what? Inversion tactics, which is I'm going to control how to do things. See, if you're really sorry, you bow your head and you say, "You tell me how I shall suffer," and that's good. You tell me how I can make it up to you. You see the difference in modality? The difference of the programming of the heart? Your heart chakra's closed, you end up looking like what this woman is doing. Then next week, I will work the remaining disagreements from his videos. I'll write more answers again. This way I will cover all the issues. Good, cover all the issues, but you should be probably asking us if we like this idea. Don't just, we're putting our shoes on already, fucking going outside for this shit, and you're throwing this at us. What the fuck disrespect is this? That's serious, because it's actually doubly serious because she was already guilty of doing this before. Oh, so then I will deliver them to both of you then before the final meeting. What final meeting? What are you talking about? There's no final, the original idea was there's no final meeting until it's finally resolved, which means full repentance or full default. But a real person will show, the person will always show the real nature and true colors anyway. We see where they're tending to here. And then we will discuss it in one meeting. Who said that? You're making up stuff. You're lucky you have an opportunity to come up to us. We're allowing it. It's a privilege. You thank God and then come while bowing to us to fucking tell us how sorry you're supposed to. What the hell is this? I'm going to tell you how I'm going to do it. This way we will save time. No, this is wasting our time. But her broken woman brain / cluster B brain and all the other problematic aspects brain thinks it's the opposite of what it is. We'll concentrate on all the written answers instead of just talking. Well, the more we talk, the more we tend to wear down the issues, so long as it's even halfway decently structured. Any talking does some semblance of justice, because it lets Anthony the witness see the content of your heart by how you're acting about the things. See? Everything should be done within 1 to 2 weeks. Who said that? You've taken 10 months, stupid woman. Now you want it to be done in 1 or 2 weeks. Why have you taken 10 months of my life to be dragged through that? But then when you want it in 1 or 2 weeks, you snap your fingers. I will delay meetings by not meeting because I want the meetings to happen faster. Does any of that make sense? Also, when person talks, no one could interrupt until it is done. Then we discuss it. Funny, because my mom has a history of interrupting me incessantly to the point that she's gotten kicked out of my house for it before. Mind you, what else is immoral is raising a claim when you're essentially a hypocrite. So let's see if she's ever guilty recently of doing that. Was she found guilty of interrupting me incessantly during the second meeting? Yes. Will she be interrupting me at any point later during this day of Sunday that we're going to be seeing story time about. Bet you will. It's funny too. Stay tuned. Please let him know how this will be done. See, it's not... Listen, can you ask him if this is fine? Is he okay with this idea? I don't regard my son or love him. No, just tell him how it will be done. I'm the master now. Parents of the world, listen. This may be a hard pill for you to swallow, but it's what every person online recently who's getting insight and awareness today in this new age is correctly stating to you, which is consistent with the highest wisdom of the highest sages within the Judeo-Christian paradigm. It's true. When you fuck up royally as a parent, you lose the privileges of parent. Don't ever allow yourself to become guilty of doing that which causes you to lose your honor as a parent. I say, I hope none of you are that stupid in this life. Yet today, more of you are making this mistake than ever has been seen before. Wake up. So she goes on, and there won't be meeting today. It's not, is it okay? A normal woman, is it okay? Is it okay? Is it okay? Beautiful, good person. We love her. She loves us. God is within her. And God protects our relationships. Because there's beautiful people acting good, healthy, who care. Is this that? Is this yin programming and beautiful and healthy and loving? No, it's do this, do that, do this, do that. Like Borat sitting on the fucking toilet throne from that movie. Do this, do that. Go do this, go do that. None of the meetings we had was productive, and this needs to be changed. Thank you. Keep this part in mind too. Anthony and I harp on this point a little bit later today. We take notice of it as we review this part in conversation, because we found and said, very funny. Actually, we found that my mom's outer semblance appeared to be quite leading in the right direction and quite seemingly decent the first meeting. The results of that meeting were kind of good. Funny how the snake herself reveals that actually in her mind she valued that and not at all. Because her true nature is that it's not beautiful to me if it was beautiful to you. If it was beautiful to you, it's because I was only wearing it as an outer fake layer. The inside only values the power and righteousness she's trying to attain, even if falsely. So thank you. That's what she sends to Anthony. My follow-up to this, as I just sent this, I'm writing this text. I was just starting to notice this text after I sent this. I'm like, Anthony, let's make this slightly bigger. I never consented for the canceling of this meeting, and neither did you okay this change. Pursuant to a non-emergency circumstance, she did this unilaterally? Right. Anyone who's watching this video is shaking their heads reasonably all along together in unison. We're going like, right, like, no kidding, of course this is the offense that these people are taking. And then I just saw what you've sent. I should have written. I say, first of all, I'm not home even. I won't be until later this evening or tonight. Secondly, while the idea itself isn't the worst in the world, and then it looked worse and worse as I kept re-looking at it. Looking purely at the merits at least, well, regardless, what the largest issue is that she simply decided to flip the script and decide for us exactly what will happen today and how it will happen. Is that respectful? A la Dr. Emerson Eggerichs, women are supposed to be respectful to men, and all the other citations of that general concept. But see, she's seen that repeated over and over. If she's actually beheld and watched the whole playlist, hey guys, everybody's watched the playlist. How many times have you seen it rubbed in your face over and over to the point of almost brainwashing? But everyone kind of actually agrees because it's sensible too. Respect people, respect men. If you're a woman especially, show respect, reverence, regard to men is the healthy input indicator. Anything other than that, you're liable for the damage you create. But if you're this far along, this is video number 30 something. What are you still doing here making these mistakes at this point in time? So we're watching them be made. So we're saying, yeah, something isn't right. No one normal would do this, but make these kinds of mistakes by this point. Because you're not fucking respecting two men at once now. Where you should know that slave respect is your bond all your life, you morons. All women live this way, stupids. What the fuck, huh? I continue on telling Anthony, ought she to have asked us first if we like the idea that she's proposing before we all agree to this alternative setup? Of course, no kidding. Or is essentially hijacking the plane whenever she wishes to the correct thing to have happen here, where we ought to just sit and passively accept what Barbara God unilaterally decides for us. What does he say? This cancellation was a last-minute thing only, it seems. The facts regarding this only changed this morning. This is tiresome to me, this cancellation, and it could have been messaged much sooner. I, of course, agree. She asked yesterday to confirm for the meeting. Then the morning she's changed her mind, which to him is ridiculous. I write, look, I have my laptop, a microphone, and I put substantial planning of my own into this. What her stupid brain could have realized is that it would have been just as fair and effective to bring these written letters to the meeting, where we would sit down and read them together, and then, while we're sitting there live, to discuss it right on the spot, instead of delaying everything we're doing by 1 week needlessly, at least. Because obviously, at least by 1 week, because as we clearly see, that when it comes to her, anything goes. You might see her next week, you might see her in 5 months. You just don't know with this one. There's no respect for you. You're not human to her. You're a variable that's a nothing, a thing. She decides if she's doing something or not, huh? Not her agreement, only her feelings decide. If her feelings are bigger than her honor, you're a piece of crap person in life. That's it. You're not moral, you're defective. We continue. Anthony, this requires a very highly calibrated and proper response. Surely it does. We ended up ultimately attempting to deliver a proper response to her directly over the phone. You'll get every bit of it. Wonderful. This isn't the first time, and she was warned from doing something like this similar when she... how did I write? Nope, this is the involuntary spin that we got put through. Also mentioned, slightly further up ahead, look, dude, how are women by their nature? They always test the limit, that's their nature, and then see if they get away with it. Then recalibrate to stretch that rubber band further and see if they can get away with the next even bigger attempt to reframe and otherwise sabotagely act their way. They're always testing the weaknesses of men to see if they can find them. Only strong men who ruthlessly enforce order are going to preserve order, because women are chaos. If they're not in their beautiful exalted nature, but in their defunct nature, they're chaos. A man in his defunct nature isn't chaos. He's nothing. He's a neutralized one, but he's not chaotic. You have to be particularly fucked up to be chaotic or out of your proper element. Women are chaotic if they're even slightly out of control. I say, you see the fruits and manifestations of this for sure. That reality stares at us, sadly. He writes back, well, dude, maybe it's just her. I haven't seen this much with other people or women before. He's been very lucky. As I mentioned previously, I take one of the only 2 days that I have off in my week to do this. My time and availability are being disregarded by your mother, he writes. Do you think he likes this? Now, I'm up to talk over the phone later. He poses, either with me or even as a conference call. I don't know, this is perhaps to be discussed. But I also have no intention, he states, of going to meet her to pick up a paper. Why would I walk 20 to 30 minutes to get a paper from her? No kidding. Damn right. Anthony eventually tells me that he'll let me know when he gets a response from her after he wrote his initial initial thing to her. We'll take a look at that coming up right here. Input here, the thing from Anthony, what he sent to the mother. Okay, bye. Meanwhile, back in the conversational thread between me and Anthony, I tell him after offering lunch, we didn't end up getting to have lunch or even meeting up today, sadly, actually. That's the sad part. But I write to him something very interesting. I say, hey, also, I want to bring something your attention onto one particular thing. Let's reverse the reel slightly. At the end of the second meeting, guess what my mom offered before he left? She said, listen. You know what I can do? I can leave food in front of your door. I think that's a great idea, really. Would you like me to do this? I can do this. No, really. All right? If the whole audience has been paying attention this entire course and recalls the whole narrative, how many of you are face palming right now? All right? Now, you've just simply seen, I don't want it, it's offensive to me. Have you guys really thought deeply about what's going on? We're going to take a close look here, because this comes up to mind. So I thought to write this to him now, since it's relatively recent in memory still, and kind of ties into something he's experiencing now in a sort of way. Do you see how the idea of my mom, A, implementing a sudden change, and then yet, B, asking or otherwise insisting or expecting that you further act in such a way as to essentially comply with her change and the new frame that she has set, or attempted to set, in her attempted replacement of the old, correct, proper, man-installed frame, always correct, worship, God, beautiful. Even though the new frame is explicitly immoral, offensive, that's right, and we call it out better than women do, it's just our wiring. That's what we're programmed for. Get real. Naturally, doesn't this cause a kind of indignation in the one who's treated in such a way? It continue on. Specifically, the idea that she can essentially act like she has the authority to cancel or amend our meeting completely unilaterally, but you are supposed to not just passively accept it, you're supposed to actively show a deference to what she's just did by her, in her mind. You see? So not only we're going to do it this way, but it's also we're going to do it this way, so now come get the letter, boy. You see that? She threads that in there probably subconsciously, but her deep sick programming knows how to do it. Sick, really. There has to be a part that's involved where you have to accept the abusive thing that she did. She doesn't say it's abusive, by the way. To her, it's a great idea. Okay? And you just should be following it now. It's like, God, it's like watching that, something comes to mind that I want to link to. It's like watching a Neil Patrick Harris thing that he did many years ago where he plays a super villain and he's just like, does a good job playing this villain. He's like, God, I just, feel like I want to rule them. It's just this same shit. Well, we continue on anyway. Specifically, the idea that she can essentially act like she's the authority to cancel or amend the meeting completely unilaterally, but then you're supposed to spend close to 1 hour round trip just to do this thing that literally by your doing it, it's signaling the acceptance. You're buying into and accepting and hanging your head, just going along with it, whatever she was wanting you to do and trying to pull. I want you to realize that this is deep. This is how she works. A man who is aware and knows right from wrong and holds his frame and who isn't numb and dead feels the indignation of this type of signaling that she's trying to get you to buy into. You understand? It's not just I'm doing something but it doesn't affect you. It's I'm doing something and now you dance to my new beat, okay? Because I said so and I'm as smart as God. So even when you men think you're smart and there's multiple ones of you, but it's just me, one little lady who's stupid and has a terrible track record. No, I don't think it's a terrible track record. I think it's great. And, regardless of whether I'm right or wrong, I actually think I'm always right. So if I say it, therefore Obviously, you should just bow, fall on your knees immediately as soon as I say the thing and just start doing it. Duh. Come on. I say, brother, do you understand why now it is that I do not accept food left at my door, which she tries to do many times over and over? Why do you think she keeps trying to make you buy into it? It's control freak shit. Imagine, Anthony, your mother doing this to you. Normally, let's say, she would talk to you or see you normal, give you love, visit you. And a normal woman who visits you because, number one, she cares about you. She doesn't visit you to bring food to you. She visits you because she loves you. And then the food is secondary as an extra gift that supports the primary objective, which is how well she loves you. You see that? You think my mom coming out and trying to falsely frame that I'm a liar? I don't know what I'm talking about. Is that a mom is showing lovingness? That's why you're guilty, Mom. Do you not understand? That's all God needs to say. God looks at your heart and says, are you serving your son with high love? No, you're dead to me. That's all God says, and then he closes the book on you because you failed right there. You're done. Go cry in front of God. He kills people, literally, actually, and figuratively speaking, and cuts you off from blessings in the most direct sense. She might bring food. In life, naturally, women bring food as a way to show care and endearment, of course. But let's say if you're in a situation where your mom has done wrong, but meanwhile, plot twist, she actually is trying to invert the frame so that she frames you as being the one who is wrong. Magic trick. We've seen that all around us in life. And then so much so that she doesn't ever want to see you. Wow, that's a bad frame. She really fucking doesn't love you. She doesn't want to see you. You don't understand that, people? Your mother doesn't love you if she's fine not seeing you. Had an ex-girlfriend who correctly stated, dude, if my mom didn't see us, she would kill herself. Ritualistically, it's impossible for that to happen. I said, wow, you're blessed. You had a normal upbringing. That is healthy, good, and normal. You understand that? I've said this before already. Now, I continue. Now, and imagine if, Anthony, actually on occasion, she'll actually purposely get out of her own house or door, however far away from you she happens to be, close or far, and then makes her way over to your own door, and then drops food at your doorstep, okay? And then walks away without ringing the doorbell, such as to alert you, God forbid, because you're not allowed to see her. She's too high for you. You understand? You're too low. That's the force. That's the frame she has to keep reinforcing. Why? Because she wants you to buy into it. A frame isn't useful if you're not buying into it. So part of her establishing a frame, what any woman does, first you set the frame, and then your racket has to succeed by you seeing people who are duped into it, nodding yes and investing more into it and loving it. You need that to fuel your idea of the frame you imagined. Kill yourselves. No man with normal brain and vision will ever accept a woman's frame. The minute Adam accepted Eve's frame, you fail. All of humanity pays the price for 5,000 years. One mistake. That's how serious of a mistake it is. No consequences lasted longer for men as a punishment, in essence, than that of man accepting woman's frame. But I don't ever accept a woman's frame in this regard. But it's funny, my mom keeps trying. If she hasn't learned, it's impossible to get me to accept her frame. Whatever motivational thing, it's like the mouse who tries to push the cocaine lever in the lab rat setup 1,800 times without success, but they're still motivated to press it anyway. That's like what my mom's trying to do. She keeps trying to reframe. Lady, it's never worked ever. So why would you're 0 for 3,000. Why are you trying that your 3,001st is going to win? It's so stupid. It's funny. It's fucking weird though. So anyway, there she is, let's say, your own mom, Anthony, right? He has a normal mom, more normal than mine for sure. Seems that way. She wouldn't do this. But let's say then she drops food at your door, walks away. Then when she's far enough away, guys, or almost back home, then she texts you or your friends that she left food in front of your door for you. You people don't realize the sickness you're in till I wake your asses up from it, it seems, huh? But you believe your own inventions and your own ideas. That's the weakness of humanity. The reason you're duped is you dupe yourselves, and then you believe your own dupings, and then you try to cross dupe each other and believe. Oh Lord, kill yourselves. And that essentially, you're supposed to take that food, furthermore, and eat it, because it's good that you do that. That's the most important part. That signifies your submission to the slave system. Don't get it? You're not a man. We're making you a mouse. Eat the food if left fucking like you're a dog or some shit, huh? Woman tries to subvert man when you're out of your exalted nature. When you're sick, you try to bring down men instead of raise them up. Keep that in mind. I bet I uploaded videos already that reinforce that. Funny how many experts who are highest experts in the world keep saying this. Amazing, right? Packed and wrapped within the course of this conduct is the new frame she's offering you. See, you are so deficient, Anthony. That's the frame you're being offered. It's that, buddy boy, you're so defective that you need for there to be food brought to you, even though that's not actually true. You obviously can go and go outside yourself, you get whatever you want for yourself when you go out. But of course, Anthony, come on, buy into the frame. See, you're so bad and unhinged and wrong. Come on, keep buying into the frame. Keep buying into the frame. That's the psychological twist. That's the deepest motivation of her ass. It's fucking not loving you. It's buy my frame so you are my slave. You get it? Psychologically speaking, her slave. But I'm so far away from it that even attempting it is just so fucking ridiculous that you'll have a video made about it. Yet how freakishly detrimental the consequences are every time she even tries something like this, it just still amazingly doesn't deter her. So it's like a dumb donkey that bashes its head 1,000 times against the wall to try to push it open, even to the point of giving itself a brain crack and a brain aneurysm. And then that's not enough. It just only knows keep banging it. Maybe it'll open now. You're defective to death then, it seems, sadly. And people practically or figuratively kill themselves in such a way, destroy themselves really, over nothing. It's a very sad thing. Fucking you stupid people. Everyone who's a dumbass around me gets ripped out of my life. Only beautiful worshippers around me, you idiots. That's the part you're really going to figure out soon. Morons. But of course, not in a hedonistic, sick way. Because as people worship me, I worship you. When you're a good person is when you earn my respect and my adoration. A man only respects good behavior. But a woman's job is to respect those who she's bound by duty to be loyal to, regardless of their behavior. Do you see the difference? So has she failed to meet that standard? Oh, she hasn't been meeting it, has she? Oh, that part's obvious. Therefore, she's failed her job as a woman alive on this earth as a human. No good. You see, that's clear. Well, Anthony, here's her crazy mom, let's say. It would never happen. She's reframing you. She's reframing you. Oh, you're so bad and unhinged and wrong. Even though she misunderstood what you said one day and then called the cops on you and didn't understand she was wrong. Later at a meeting, several months later, she admits, oh, I didn't know, I didn't realize. Yet she's still saying I'm absolutely wrong about something and that she's absolutely right. Do you know what the word absolutely means? It means without condition or exception. That's insane. When Anthony, you'll see it all today. This is one of the most interesting days we've had, trust me. Well, Anthony, so bad she shouldn't even alert you that she's there near the door. Okay? Yeah, she's not going to buzz the door to have you answer it and say hello to her. That's too personal, okay? You're supposed to be kept with a distance. You're arm's length. You're for being quarantined socially, morally from her. You're bad, get it? Is that mom or is that abuse? Is that the love of a mother or is that abuse from a mother? Answer, audience. The frame is, you're not worthy to be talked to, acknowledged, or even eaten around. But she is entitled and worthy to unilaterally just drop food at her discretion, where of course her food must be eaten. You must accept the food that you must accept that you're the dog now, and a bad dog at that. You cannot complain. Just accept that it's now proper and okay that your mom treats you like you're a problem of this magnitude. Participate in the structure and framework by eagerly opening that door and living off these bones and crumbs that she tosses you, okay? Hey, all men of the world, do you like that? Or if that were to ever happen to you, would you accept the food, or would you go and teach your broken fucking brained mother the lesson by fucking obviously not accepting the food and then reinforcing that, no, I don't accept that? Every man in the world has dignity, hopefully, thank God. God willing. Hashem willing, honestly. I continue. This is why, in proper context, it is offensive to offer it to me. That is why I refuse, because our job as men is to revamp the broken frame of the broken women back to the correct frame by saying, no, we're reminding you as God-wise level, we're Solomon to you, dumbass. No, we're telling you, to you we are. This is sick. I'm not having anything to do with this. Do you understand what I mean? I asked my friend. He continues on, hey, the message he sent to her is yet to be opened, which annoys him. And furthermore, yeah, it's annoying. I have no intention of going out of my way, he says, any further to get a letter. I'm already going out of my way to help, he says, but it's not being appreciated by this mother of yours. Don't you get that it's disgusting? You don't have shame? And eventually Anthony gets back to me just a little later. And, well, he's written to my mom. Let's see what she wrote back. See, a normal woman would say, I'm getting some strong suggestions that maybe what I'm doing isn't right. Well, if a man is telling me something, and he's not 8 or 10, but 35, even though I'm an old lady, I'm still a lady, and men are smarter than me. Therefore, if he's trying to alert me to the fact that I'm morally wrong, fuck. And John is too, probably. I haven't said anything yet to her directly, so she doesn't know if Anthony's doing the talking for us in essence. Oh, maybe I have done something wrong. Oh, shit. And that's when the shame and embarrassment should come in if you have normal neural wiring. See what my mom says. Very sorry for the inconvenience, but I think this is the best way to deal with this issue. So, first of all, a disingenuous apology or a genuine apology? She doesn't sound sorry. What the hell is this shit? And you don't use the word sorry if it's not a real apology. That's trying to get a fake. That's trying to really get a fake apology over and then act as if, well, it's fine now. See, I said sorry. Sorry is not a magic word. Unless you're sorry in the heart, ready to cut yourself open to bleed from the heart, pouring it out on the ground because of how much you hate yourself correctly for the shit you've done that's bad. Good, you feel guilty. Good. Then you're human garbage. If anyone in the audience disagrees, leave a comment. I don't think anyone disagrees. But kind of pretty much, you're right, John. Harsh words, but the essence is sort of aligning with what's made sensible. Funny how that is, huh? Furthermore, she states, the answers will clarify what the truth is and what is really going on between my son and I. The issues between him and I that are pertinent to this issue, well, we've heard so much about them already, but my God, she's got such a deep and different revelation about why she's justified to mistreat her son that somehow these justifications and defenses will be so amazing that it'll just be the most mind-blowing comeback of all the history, all time. Okay, so again, sorry for the inconvenience, but today won't work. You're not really sorry, so it's offensive to say to Anthony, obviously, and he is indignant at this, You don't say sorry and not mean it. That's ugly. Stupid people who do this, obviously. I will put a lot of effort to clarify his charges. I don't know why she talks like that. What the fuck? It's kind of a little not normal, but she means his accusations, meaning my accusations against her. Guys, have you seen that my accusations are unreasonable? Wow, no, they're not. Wow. Yet, is that the frame she's trying to cast? No, they're totally unreasonable, totally wrong. It's so bad. I will put a lot of effort to clarify these things so everyone will see my position clearly. Honestly, you're welcome to try, and we're welcome to see as much of that as you think is possible to make. We want to see, we really do. That's actually one of the reasons we're angry you delayed today. We want to see as much of these things as possible, as soon as possible. Should have been done today, duh. But the biggest problem is that not lack of respect in how it was done, obviously. I think I'll finish all downstairs and give you my position on all the issues by the end of this week on Friday or Saturday. Wow, what about your son's position on all the issues? Because he's the one you wronged and he's calling you out on it, and if there's contention on it, well, maybe there is, maybe there isn't, and then if there is, well, fine, but you still have an open mind, which means you still denounce and renounce the idea or premise that you would offend or hurt your son. Hopefully, then once we discuss next Friday, Saturday, then obviously, hopefully, then we could close this chapter. Now we just move on with our lives. Whatever the hell that means. Remember, it's all about frame control, frame control, frame control. That's all women want. Is I have to feel powerful because I'm insecure. Men are secure, so we don't need to beg for power. We naturally have it. But also it's backed by merit because we're actually seeing things correctly in life, while women have illusion layers, living in illusion land. Very sad. Look at the juxtaposition here. When the goal is that I will have my answers, everyone will see my position clearly. That's when we will meet. Only once my position's clear. And then, obviously, once my position's clear, she has no concept of the fact that she's going to be dismantled in about 2 seconds. Every single thing she writes is going to be blown apart. And it's going to be stunned like a chess match. She thinks she's winning when she's losing. It's horrible. Then she's going to stand there and what? No, guys. She envisions, when you see my position clearly, then we're closing the chapter. Because I so imagine the parade is coming now. Everyone will love me. It's unbelievable. You might think my imitations of these issues from her are a little exaggerated. There's a live phone conversation coming up that has happened later on this day, today, Sunday, that you'll hear about. You'll hear her. For the first time on this playlist, you'll hear her directly. And how she is. Stay tuned. This really is unbelievable. Apologies to both of you. Third fake apology. Not see you next weekend. Why? Because you said so? Lady. We all remember that scene from that mob movie. You didn't want to leave from the bar? Now you just can't leave. All right? You don't want to meet with us today? It's not now see you next weekend because you want to. It's you don't want to see us today? Now you can't see us. See, that's correct man programming, good, beautiful God who loves this type of enforcement. Every man be blessed. Not stupid woman saying thank you while being evil. All men love God and keep women as how they should be. In the meanwhile, while he shares that with me, I swap. My mom also texted me a follow-up, a second straight text, as you see on the screen, where it reads, and it simply says, "Oh, my sincere apology." Blah. It's not sincere. So now you're guilty for insulting us really kind of seriously by falsely couching your apology with the claim of it being sincere. This is like when people say, I'm literally, when it's not literally anymore. Shit, my sincere apology for rescheduling is not a sincere apology because you're not sincerely regretting that you've done this. That's a lie. So you see how women's idea of truth and lying is different than what a man / correct / God's idea is? Something's different. Something's off. What is it? Can it ever be put into words? What is this delusion land? Guys, you see, if she tells you, it's just she'll be done with all the answers by the end of next week. Wait, I thought she was supposed to be done with the answers by today, and she was supposed to give us letters. How did the letters being ready today suddenly turn into her needing 5 or 6 more days? Funny narrative change. Why? Because it's all about preserving the righteousness of what she's doing. It doesn't matter if the narrative makes sense. Well, the narrative has to make sense, but it doesn't matter if what she's actually doing makes sense. It just has to seem like she is in the right. It's all about selling you fucking fakery. Unbelievable. So, the question is, is this an apology that a man in my position should accept? Well, number one, is she actually remorseful? No. So therefore, do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Go straight to jail, as they say. Means, no, the apology on the face is unacceptable. That's obvious. Any man, by his dignity, would not accept it. And now, Anthony, also about to be introduced, I believe, for the first time in this playlist, here in this video. A lot of new introductions will be happening around this time, happening today. We've got a recorded phone call now as Anthony and I get on the phone. We have about at least a couple or so conversations discussing where we're going from here and how to unfold and handle this matter. Watch the boys handle business. Stay tuned. Here's a conversation from earlier this afternoon that Anthony and I had with each other.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey, what's up?
All right. I think you might be carrying the brunt of this conversation. Like, I'm upset. I'm upset for myself. I'm also upset for you. I'm upset for the whole situation. But I think you as the witness would be the primary conveyor of our collective upset and displeasure at this. So we should probably write down some formal points, just like she wants to write all these things down. Well, we're going to be writing some things down too. Everything that we mentioned in the last several texts between us that's relevant, and then what we just discussed on the phone prior than the last half hour or so. What are all those points again? Because I don't remember what the hell I was saying. My memory's not so great.
Which one?
All the aspects of everything that she's doing wrong that reasonably appears wrong to us is not right. All the distinct things we hold her guilty of right now for doing this.
From that conversation earlier?
Yeah, when we were talking a little earlier just now. We discussed her, we reviewed her texts, discussed how it doesn't make sense what she's doing, but then what we need to do is bullet point those so that when she gets on the phone, we can tell her to her face, over the phone though, that she's defaulted, she's wrong. Here's all the points exactly on which she's wrong, so we're not just sitting there going, you're wrong. You see? So yeah, sometimes my brain is not so is less organized now than it used to be.
One of them is inconsistency. There's one Tan doesn't let her put
Yeah, all right, bingo.
can't be this week because
Yeah, you gotta call her out on all of it, and I'm gonna just sit here and also call her out on it alongside you. And agree with you, because I'm in full agreement. And what do you think should be done in a situation like this?
I don't know. I'm not really a confrontational person.
Dude, then we might be embroiled for 20 years with this if no one confronts her. Because then she's going to keep doing it because her reptilian lizard cluster B brain, woman brain, it only knows, can I get away with it? Did I get away with it? That's the only thing she knows. And get away with it doesn't mean that someone came to her and formally said some words. But did my emotional core get chewed out for the thing I just did? If not, then it must be okay. It's good. It's the only thing she encodes in her system, her brain. So if she did this and she wasn't led slightly closer to crying as a human being in her experience today, her emotional registry didn't register any adverse consequence to the shitty thing that she just did to us. Therefore, her having done so is the only thing that's necessary for her to make it go more likely still again. That's why these people tend to get worse as they get older, because the half killing them for it lets them think it's fine. They only circuit reward themselves through pleasure. They feel powerful now. You understand? Because we're not chewing them out for it as we should be. So what does the Bible say? Always rebuke wrongdoers. Always rebuke wrongdoers. Never fail this part. They keep saying, if you fail this part, you will deserve everything that happens to you. Why do they keep writing that? Because we have to get up, stand on our two man feet, and do the man job. There's no getting out of it. I feel that way. So I've had to endure a whole lifetime of being at war with my mom for this reason. Now, there is no peace. There's no such thing. If I put fake peace, that's also not really peace, and that actually accelerates the rate of her abuses more against me. It never works. That's appeasing Hitler. It didn't work in the war because it doesn't work anywhere. And then the war is, we're at war, but at least it's dignified because you are correctly rebuking, enforcing consequences, boundaries, enforcing the boundaries, and on and on. That's my life. I'm locked into it. But the ultimate reason, Anthony, I've been locked into it was that I didn't really read the full thing in the Bible and understand the principle until relatively recently in life. It says, yeah, you got to call them out for it, and then if they don't fess up, first of all, you get a witness so that before their eyes, all the things are established clearly, so that at least two people are in mutual agreement as to what the hell's going on. And then they say, next step after that, if they still don't hear you and come around, which seems to be the case with what's going now. Anthony, she's fighting us on whether or not she should be meeting with us on a given fucking day. Do you think she's going to be coming to agreement and admitting she's wrong on the actual issues? You see how crazy? It's like unbelievable. So if she then defaults once there's two or more people on earth who are in mutual agreement with the fact that she's not doing right, then there's 2 steps left on the 4-step master rebuke list of all time on earth and existence and consciousness. It's called, then you publicize the matter, so it's no longer private just between us guys. No, I can do anything I want with it rightly, morally. Before this point, it'd be me gossiping, which isn't good. Up to this point and beyond, it's not gossiping, it's calling out the rebuker and have a witness who agrees that it's not just me. All right? Then when the impact of publicization doesn't perturb her, then that's the final straw. Because step 4 is the ultimate final step. It's ostracization. You cut her off officially, finally, for good, until she actually, on her own, repents and comes back and realizes she fucked up. Then we have nothing to do with it. Ever again. Ever. My whole life will be free. You see, God gives you freedom when you follow that rule. Because what I thought I had to do as a good person or a good son before, bro, was just to talk to her as a good son and just take the abuse. And just turn the other cheek, as they say. Right? Which is another Jesus thing, but they misquoted a little bit. Yeah. Doing that my whole life only got 20 years of worsening fucking offenses, and I was just gaslit into, oh, no, this is fine. That's how that's how you are supposed to be treated, John. No, but fucking here we are anyway. So what God gives you is, you follow these rules, you really do get set free. Because number 1, you get the whole public around you to recognize you're right and she's wrong. Therefore, everybody collectively is in agreement that that's the wrong person. So now when she gets cut off, number 1, you're free from the evil, because God mandates you separate yourself from that which is evil so that you don't continue being connected to it, because then you drive yourself crazy. You torture yourself. And number 2, there's general agreement objectively that you're not just being a bad guy who's cutting away from family. No, you're properly setting that you're in the right and that she was in the wrong, and it's like officiated by the fact that there was witnesses and then publicization that stood on top of that. You see, it is absolutely beautiful, absolutely amazing. So that's the road I've been on, faithfully. You see, bro, I haven't moved a damn foot off of this road for a year. Is exactly has to be done this way, and despite all the transient discomforts, and we probably broke a world record for how long this has taken us. Once it's officially done, and there's a witness, in this circumstance in particular in my life, it's you. Once you're like, yep, we listed every single aspect of everything she did wrong over the last several months, years plus, everything that's been complained of, and basically, you know, you've heard both sides, or both sides got the opportunity to speak. Whether or not she honored it or waived it is up to her, bro. And you basically are going like, yeah, what you're seeing is the same thing I'm seeing. I can say it for sure. I'm confirming that she's a wrongdoer on all these distinct counts of offenses. Then I say thank you very much. It's certified then. It's certified. So there's a saying near this passage in the Bible. It says, because wherever two or more people agree on something, that is where God's Spirit resides within. Not where one person makes up something on their own, but when two or more people are in agreement, the plurality and the confirmatory aspect of that begins to take on the vibratory power. You see, with which or upon which we can stand when we make a proper condemnation of someone. Isn't that incredible? I'm tired of it. I don't want to be treated like this anymore by people like this. So, you know, hey, you know what? Good thing this is all being recorded actually on this phone. I like it. This is a good recording, and we're gonna keep it. It's running, obviously. I like it. Maybe we'll upload this. We'll talk about it. All right. So let's discuss every single one of the distinct things. Anthony, if you would be so kind, I'm out in the park here now. Do you have like a computer, a pen and paper, and we'll write down and we'll number one after another.
No, I have to stay closer to work, otherwise I'll lose reception.
Yeah. Do you have like a pad or something?
No.
Can you get a pad or anything? Like a pen too? Or a laptop or something? Or your phone? But it's got to be so that if we have her on the call, we either of us can, like, you know, with good flow, we can like tell her and enumerate specifically so you can hear it with her ear into her brain. That's all we're responsible for. If she doesn't accept it after that, we did our job, and then we can go. She can marinate in her own karma after that. But you know, we gave her a chance to like an opportunity to cure, as they say, when you gave her the first notice of like, hey, what you're doing isn't right, you should turn around now. But then she didn't. She reaffirmed what she's doing, so that's a full default. So on full default, we then go to her and say, okay, so now we told you not to do this, but you're doing it anyway, and you're completely ignoring what we said, and you think you're justified, moreover, and you keep acting like you're justified, as if you didn't hear anything we just said, or as if it has no value, is not real. Bitch, we're real, and our words are real and correlate to life correctly. Yours don't. Something's got a fucking rude awakening her ass somehow. I don't know what the hell else to say about this. Alright? I'm a grown man. I shouldn't be having fucking bullshit with his mother, and I'm in my mid-30s, because this is how people's development in their lives gets hampered. Nobody needs this. She did this. Fuck her. Curse this shit on her ass. I'm done. I want out of this shit. But I'll have to do it morally, so I can't just leave. It has to be formally established in the ways so that all the karmic ties are cut cleanly, so that I don't have karmic reverberation in the bad way. Very important. Alright, so we give her notice that she messed up. We got to point out the distinct offenses. So number one, as you suggested earlier. And what did you say?
Inconsistency.
Yeah, about yeah, we brought this point up. So going back to the text, see, this isn't the video recording, it's just an audio recording. Oh, we'll figure it out. But in the text, At first, early in the morning, she said, "Oh, I've got these letters ready. So the reason I'm canceling it today was that you guys can come today, but then instead of meeting with me, you'll be meeting with the sheets of handwritten papers I'll be handing you. That'll be doing my work in my stead. And I'll back off. You won't meet with me. And then the words will speak for me. And then another week will pass by. I'm assuming the extra week." See, the more we think about it, the more we realize she's not actually thinking about any of this from our perspective. She's only thinking about it from her perspective. So originally I said, "Oh, and then another week so we could reply." Now, she doesn't give a fuck if we reply. She's writing things down because she in her head wants to be right. She thinks this is her big win, her rightness, her false righteousness. You see? Yeah, so she changed the frame magically, which is crazy, from I have these things ready, to all of a sudden change the narrative to why? To justify further why we're canceling today. You see how the emphasis magically got changed from I'm handing you letters today to, oh, I have to work on all this stuff that'll be ready by maybe Friday, Saturday. Oh, magically all this extra time is needed? No, it's only because she wants to look like the cancellation is more justified. She tried to throw a cancellation on us quick this morning, and then she realized when we called her out on it, oh, maybe it's not justified enough. Let me change how I make a narrative about the story in a different way. So then that slant will look like it fits better, right? Is that the same thing you're beholding from this? Yeah, we can. Oh, yeah, we need her permission, right? We're not allowed to meet today unless Queen God Barbara allows it. Fucking mental. But so what's point number 2 then? Generally, canceling a meeting where she otherwise was promised.
Wait, I'm still writing.
Sure, yeah. Dude, I'm about to break my coffee fast. I've been off of it for a week, but I have some in my bag waiting for me. I was gonna break it after our meeting. Fuck it, I'm doing it now. I might go off the rails on this phone, but that's okay. Alright. I'm taking a sip now. It smells good. Made it at home. It's cold brew. This one. I did a good job. Distilled water and cold brew. With organic coffee that's imported from Ethiopia. Like, boom. This is the real, it's just like unbelievable, this stuff. Oh yeah, wow. Cold brew is much better than boiled, I'm telling you. Wow. Very good. Meantime, so, what was I saying? Are you writing still? You ready? And what do you so the second part is what? Well, first of all, generally, the fact of her breaking any commitment to us at all, such as this meeting, is like an offense. All right? So that's the charge, so to speak, generally, right? But you know how charges have degrees, and then you got raised degrees depending on what the seriousness of it is. So it's like there's the base general fact of like her not meeting, but as a raised degree, it's like a separate subpoint, I guess you could say, is the fact that this isn't the first time she's done something like this. But furthermore, she was warned not to play around with our meeting like this and pull funny stunts like this again.
You know the guy,
Does she look like she respected that? Again, yeah. Like, did she properly atone for the previous thing? So when she made her original offense, where last weekend she inevitably admitted in front of us, remember? Oh, you know what? It was irresponsible. Ah, so if that was irresponsible, what she did, So first is the repentance. I'm sorry, it was irresponsible. Okay. Then is atonement. You cannot complete repentance unless you have the proper atonement. What's atonement? Is making up for what you did, which includes necessarily making sure you do not fail to uphold the correct conduct from now on. You definitely won't be guilty of the same or similar class of mistake again. So if she did this now, not only this is an offense about this week, this is a breakage of the atonement for the prior debt of sin she committed for prior. See what I'm saying? So it's a double compoundment. That God hates this stuff. Every time people do this, first you rebuke, then you call upon God to execute judgment with his own substantive curses, and then he makes people sick and they drop dead from cancer and other crazy things. Yeah. All right. Have you heard these stories before? I'm sure you have. There was one particular person in my life. We'll just say it at that, because I know this conversation is being recorded. So I'll say one particular person in my life. You know what? They were acting very strongly, adversely to me in a way that wasn't fair, and then they persisted in doing that, and then they continued to persist doing it still, even though I was saying, you know, like, this is a little much. This is maybe too much. It didn't matter. So eventually, more and more and more, this went. I kept rebuking. I didn't get a substantive witness on it even. Now, in life, if you happen to be perfectly right, you don't always need the witness, but you should get a witness to make sure you're always right. If you happen to be right, here's what God and the universe does for you, which is unbelievable. All of a sudden, because I was texting back and forth, Anthony, with this person. And then at some point, they just reneged one more time. There was another default, and it was more argument and like, kind of like a disrespectful talk and criticism and like offenses. And I'm like, I didn't deserve any of this. I knew that. And for the first moment, it was like, it wasn't as if I was writing or talking anymore. It was like something was moving through me. And I opened up the text box and I simply wrote, that which came through me, Anthony. Most things come from me. This was a very interesting and unique experience. I'll just say this, because when you finalize, even in your mind's eye and in your heart, the condemnation of someone who has done wrong against you, there's a lot of power that comes naturally, inherently through that. I wrote in there, I said, okay, for what is going on here, it was as if it all was speaking through me. I said, my thumbs just punched this out. God is going to smash your face. Full stop. And I sent it. And I left it at that. And I dropped it. And I didn't discuss anything with that person after that. Would you believe it? 12 hours later, and amazing how the world and the universe works, my mom happened to be meeting with this person in that person's own building where they lived. What a amazing coincidence, right? And I forgot exactly the details why this was happening. Nevertheless, literally as she was there meeting with him in the lobby of his own building, while this person was still, I'm assuming, like half drunk or sort of recovering from being drunk the prior night and morning, him and some random neighbor's friend get into some random spontaneous argument, and all of a sudden that guy takes out his giant hardened fist and craters this person in his face, cracking his facial plate bone. Within 12 hours of me declaring, okay, you're not repentant on the thing you're doing, God's telling you he's going to smash your face for this. You always get delivery. Alright? This ain't nonsense that we're living in. This is the real matrix of reality with the real thing going on here. All right? I'll move us another example from another story. You've heard enough about my mom's boyfriend. His name I will mention. It's my mom's boyfriend. That idiot. And for sure he is. He knew enough from the direct involvements that I held him in wrongdoing. He was not repentant to me. He did not hear me. My mom is a substantive witness to that fact, where she admitted by her own voice that she recognized eventually, by that point in time, I told you that story, that he may be in some kind of wrong. He didn't do things right the full way. Yeah, call it that, okay? Yet, she said, I will advocate, I'm his agent on behalf of him, but also on behalf of you. I want to help mediate. But she was just all talk. Nothing ever happened. And eventually, after I said, listen, I'm telling you to tell him today, that he'd better come and straighten this out if he wants a proper dynamic in this family. If he wronged me, he's got to right it and do the work. After weeks and months passed by, the guy's a ghost, refuses to show up to do anything. So I kept asking my mom, what happened? What happened? This was all through the middle phase of last year, Anthony. Yep. And then she says, oh, I don't know. I'm still trying. Oh, I say maybe. Oh, he says maybe. I don't know. Everything's la-di-da, right? Okay. I said, all right, this is your last warning. You got whatever, 72 hours or the week, or because I said it multiple times. This doesn't go on forever. If you keep refuting me, there's going to be natural consequences. Not by me or from me, just through it all. That's how it goes. But she acts like as if I'm saying nothing. Mind you, she witnessed the first thing that happened to the other person who I'm mentioning. Mind you, when I saw this person at the hospital after they got facial reconstructive surgery, he was sitting there recovering, and I'm sitting there with him, and he's going, dude, how the fuck did you text that? And then literally that happened to me 12 hours later. I'm like, well, that's how life works when you attune correctly. The world works for you if you know how to work with the world, in essence. There's more to it, but there it is. And blew his mind for the rest of the time that's relevant. He was always very mind blown about that. All right, these kinds of things give us little hints about how the things really operate in this world and universe. My mom didn't seem to, she saw this too. She saw the text, she saw that it was before, and heard about it from this person, and she was like, yeah, that really was really wow. I'm like, yeah, right. And then after really wow, like the next blink and the next statement, it's like she forgot about it. I'm like, don't forget about it. You're all liable to fucking get crushed by the real master up there. You're not getting it yet. Don't be so comfortable doing whatever you want down here. It's because everybody's failing to rebuke and run the karmic energy correctly that we forget these things happen when you actually call up and implement the dynamics of this reality correctly. Well, now my mom's boyfriend defaults on the issue. He's just nowhere to be found. It's months later. My mom had to apologize for him, but I don't accept that apology. I say, you get him, he will be atoning, not you. I don't accept atonement from you for another human being, in this case. Eventually, he was nowhere to be found. I kept complaining more and more aggressively to my mom, saying, you guys got to get it. It's not fine. This is my dignity. I've been wronged too much, and by not having him apologize, but you're still hanging out with him, you're chilling with him, he's your guy. Yeah, that's your guy. So that is an offense against me. That's an insult. So you're tacitly supporting and enabling that offense. So then you're co-guilty with it as well, obviously. I don't see you throwing his bags out. What happened? So one after another, and all of a sudden, again, I just felt it's like you're cooking soup, and at the right moment, the soup is done. It's fully cooked. You have to wait and wait, make sure it's worn in enough until it's fully cooked. Karmically, the energetic, the intertwinings and everything of the world in this matter was cooked at that moment. And suddenly I just stood up again in my kitchen with my chest up, and again, it was like something was speaking through me Again, the same phenomenon. I wasn't texting at this time, it was speaking through me. I just said, because you haven't gotten me the atonement, that repentance which I deserve from this man, he's going to get burned. And I just sat down. That was the end of the conversation, and I continued my day. This must have been maybe 6 days later, Anthony. I have a quasi-relative who came over from Poland, who flew over from Poland. I never met the guy. I met the guy's son once, who's my mom's age, and then this guy's a real old head. He's like 80 years old, but a cool guy, rich guy, kind of like, you know, somewhat medium, like powerful in industry in Poland or something like that, up to different things. But great guy, great character. I liked him a lot. If everyone was like him, this world would be a really great place. Well, he came and he stayed upstairs. They were hanging out. My mom's boyfriend's trying to be all buddy-buddy with them, so, you know, he's keeping him up there. They're all doing their private events with themselves, but of course, I'm not invited. You understand how the indignation and the offense continues to work? And then he had to come down separately to, like, see me. Mind you, my mom was just blindly allowing it all. The guy's so astute. Within 10 minutes, he's like, dude, why am I separately upstairs and then you're down here? It looks like there's some problem. There is, isn't there? Oh, you guys should fix it. Come, let me mediate. This guy volunteered himself. And then for 2-3 days, he ended up trying to talk separately with them and him, and then with me. He did more work, this stranger, for our family than my mom did in 20 years. His sensory's calibrated correctly. He's like, he comes in to meet a family, he sees something's wrong, and he immediately wants to fix it and help. And he spent a lot of energy trying to help. Half his time became dedicated to, like, being a resolver. But it didn't work because the idiot didn't fucking, you know, do anything correctly, compromise, let alone atone or bend the knee properly. Whereas I didn't do anything wrong. And then this may be things that we can continue to discuss as we shift away from the conversation with my mom and finalize that. The little side quest is finalizing the story with the boyfriend, which you already heard most of, included on the recordings, yeah? Okay. So here's what happens. They start, one of them gets this idea from fucking nowhere. Hey, let's, like, do vodka shots lit on fire. Oh, that's great. You know, no one fucking ever did that in that house, ever. And then all of a sudden they get this idea, they start doing it. Okay? Yeah. Whatever the fuck happened, all of a sudden one person gets inspired to light something up. Another person accidentally spills and knocks something over. Another person lights the thing that got spilled. All of a sudden, half the living room's on fire. And both of those two, sustained severe burns on major parts of their body. Amazing. How's that keep happening? So I keep telling people, it's not petty, it's not revenge. Go to the biblical code. It tells you that it's always exactly what happens when you invoke the things correctly and fully. The universe does it for you because you're in alignment. Only if you're in alignment will this happen, I think. But I know that those who are not in alignment, it doesn't work out so well for them. Usually they're getting the short end of that stick. And now I'm warning my mom again. Stop playing around. If the day comes that God speaks through me again because you've done enough and it's been established enough, you always got to give the most chances when it's your own parent, I suppose. But if it comes through, it's spontaneous. It's like the words of a prophet that gets spoken who's possessed, in a sense. Boom. And then that's it. It's not by me. It's not my physical doing. I'm just the messenger letting you know that it's a guaranteed promise of a delivery. Then you won't have anywhere to hide in this world. It always gets you All right. So that's some of my interesting experiences. I think what's stupefying is that my mom witnessed both of those. Days later, she came back down and she heard me say, yeah, remember I said earlier in the week, like he was going to get burned? Then she really was like, yeah, like for the first time, maybe the little, like, you know, the mechanisms in her brain started working, like, maybe, whether or not there's some enforcer in this world who fucking does this kind of shit or not, that it doesn't even and shouldn't matter. You should be doing the correct thing anyway for the sake of the energetic balancing and to preserve the peace and true love and harmony, you know? But if you don't have that, then it's very funny how things can sometimes end up. And I don't have remorse for those cases. If something higher than us is working through us to enforce its idea of what justice is, then justice does as it does. That's always a good and beautiful thing. It's correct. I wanted to share these stories with you because I don't know. I might have mentioned them once on through text, but it's not the same as getting a good story time.
No, you mentioned it in call before.
All right. There's a lot more that can be said. This is only a slight fraction of my whole research chemical induced 7 years now living experience. When you attune your receptors, something happens, but actually you really do get attuned, and there is something that's getting plugged into. It's not just, you know, a tickle me Elmo for my own sake, that I'm upregulated, whatever that means. No, there's something going on here. Maybe one day all the books will be written and more. For now, we're doing the low man's dirty work of, not dirty work, but like doing the work that's like the hard work of just, you know, learning how to probably, you know, the universe, fate, so to speak, wants us to get practical experience going through these things so that we can attain a benefit of sorts, like an understanding, maybe even a wisdom, you know? Very stupid and a complete lack of wisdom that my mom, seeing kind of how that pans out, just shrugs, and then turns around and starts making huge problems with me again. For sure, if I call it as being you not being right and I'm right, you're not in this universe and coexisting along with us, and actually you're right and you and I, Anthony, we're both wrong and blind to it. No, our well-wired brains, it's funny. It's just funny. It's arrogant. It's the 3-year-old who thinks they can beat the chess computer when it's on max level, which real grandmasters can't beat. You know, and you think your first 5 moves went well. No, they didn't go well. It moved that way precisely because it knows that it's going to win. You're so stupid. This is hopeless, bro. How do you tell people, and women in particular, you don't have the same wiring to process? It's not even close. It's not even resembling. But they don't know that because they can only see it through their level. I don't know. Only remedy is love people and do good, and everyone's happy. Everything else, geez, how complex things have to get. You know? That's really how I feel. Now, so I've come around full circle, I think, Anthony. We're now going back to the issue here. This is another failure for atonement. It makes a distinct offense in our eyes. I think you agreed with me on that point. Considering what else we've said today earlier when we discussed, because I have slight memory issues now too because of all the brain damage that I have, which my mom probably also doesn't believe. Also I wanted to sit with you and share with you, Anthony, some medical document stuff, which is why I wanted to meet up with you. I'm remembering, right. I'd like to discuss that too. Share that with you because I want answers at that, or it should be recorded or otherwise preserved that this was talked about and brought up officially. I haven't touched that aspect yet. You know? You hear me? Yeah. Let's figure that out in just a little bit. I hope we could do that. Where's all right, so what else if you could go back, Anthony, and review both any and all texts that have come through from anyone, you or her or me, and then in conjunction with what we were discussing earlier on the phone when we first got on the phone today, 15-20 minutes, I forgot what I was saying. Can you help me remember?
From the original text?
Yeah, because we want to make as distinct of a list as possible. If we can evince 14 distinct aspects of how this woman is fucked up today, we need 14 distinct bullet points. And not just like a vague, like, she did wrong. It pisses us off. You want a distinct list, so at the correct time, we read it off and it's one after another. So this woman hears it like, this is what I've done wrong. This is what I've done wrong. Then if it's on her to recognize it or not. If the remorse instinct does not kick in, karmically, that's all you have to do. Your hands go up and you are absolved of the further responsibility. At that point, we walk away and let her brew in her own karmic hell. Yeah. All right, let me do this. Yeah. All right, let me do this. I'm gonna put you on speaker, and I'm gonna bring up the text again and skim through, and I'll say out loud what I recall from memory and what I see in this text, and then whatever you hear as a point, you just say that. You let me know you like that, you write that down, and then we'll have like a list like that. How does that work for you? Okay, hold on. And why isn't the speaker coming? A speaker? Okay. You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
I can barely hear you. Alright, let me think. Oh my god. Where's can't remember what I'm doing. Alright, so you sent me something. So let's take a close look at what she sent you most recently. Okay. This crazy thing. Alright, I'm gonna read it verbatim, which is what you sent to me before that you got from her. She says, first of all, multiple things blocking on the screen now. This is so crazy. Alright. Very sorry for the inconvenience, but I think this is the best way to deal with this issue. Alright, two or three faults right there. Number one is an inauthentic apology. That's not a correct apology. So when she's offering these surface words, that's an insult, is not a genuine apology, nor could it be reasonably held as such. Secondly, I think this is the best way to deal with this issue. Therefore, that's how it will go, because I'm the one unilateral God of the situation. So the one-handedness, the arrogance of the unilaterality of it is the offense, where she should know to instead, what? Ask us. She should have petitioned us. And then thirdly, she's saying these things not only now for the first time. This is a text that she apparently sent you as a follow-up, as a double, in affirming her original position after you apparently sent her some strong disapprovals. So the other additional grade of this is that she's completely disregarding what you're saying, as if what you're saying is not like you're not human. It doesn't count. That's just Anthony thinking that I've done something wrong. That doesn't actually mean I did anything wrong. That's narcissism. See what I'm saying?
Okay.
All right. What do you think about those? Do those make sense?
Hold on, yeah, I'm writing.
Okay. This is life. Instead, we have to spend a Sunday afternoon stressing about bullshit instead of enjoying a sunny day out here, you know? Like, come on, pacing back and forth like a crazy person, dealing with more aggravation. So again, when you're someone like her, you don't factor it in that now I'm responsible for causing aggravation to human beings. They spend hours and days hating you and having stress. That doesn't factor into her mind. It's just, no, I wanted it, so that's why it's supposed to be this way. Yes, because I wanted it. Kill yourself. Literally kill yourself, and then you're correctly setting the world better. Who doesn't understand this? I am tired of this.
Alright, I'm done with that.
Alright, next she said, sorry for the inconvenience. Again, is a more inauthentic apologies BS. But today won't work. Again, the same thing, unilaterality, as if it does work only because she, in her mind, feels like it does work. It's not actually necessarily the case that it actually doesn't work. It's just that she thinks it doesn't, therefore it doesn't. Don't question God, she's God, you see? The arrogance. Alright, so it's a double issue. Number one, the arrogance is an insult. Number two, not coming to us, petitioning. Everybody knows if you're normal, you're supposed to be seeking our consent, that we all agree to the change. Everything makes sense so far, right?
Yeah.
Next. I will put a lot of effort to clarify his charges, my accusations in essence. Yeah, charges in a sense. I charge you with wrongdoing. It's true. She is guilty of wrongdoing. What does she think she's going to do? Bring up a magical swell of counter, examples and defenses and justification, just magically going to exonerate her completely to the last, final, nth degree? What's she going to do next? Raise the dead from the ground? Is she the Messiah? You have a delusional disorder. If you think that in the situation that we all find ourselves to be in, that there's some practical avenue to escape it without liability and debt of sin still being attached to you that you have to now pay by serving and bowing and kneeling correctly in atonement. But if you're in a spirit of atonement because you realize you've done wrong, you should already be in that spirit now, because this is the repentance process now, the window and the gateway for it. So, what we see that's disgusting, it bleeds out of the words almost, is the substance and the spirit through which she's speaking, which is non-repentant, is non-remorseful. It's the opposite. It's this haughty, arrogant, blind. It's like you're colorblind, but you think you see everything. So, of course I'm going to do these incredible things. I'm going to do these unbelievable things. I'll put huge writings and it will just, in one breath, whoosh, magically, I'm going to overturn all the fucking accusations. It's not true. Her best attempt last time was, I didn't do anything wrong. I'm not guilty of being a bad mother to you. Why? Because you said I didn't hug you when I was a kid, but I hugged you sometimes, so what do you want? I'm therefore fully fine. I'm guilty of nothing, therefore. Huh? Pfft, shoot yourself. Oh, it's all crazy. Anthony, what did you get from that substantive that you could write down?
That, she's basically acknowledging that it was bad and irresponsible to cancel last time, and there's no hindsight recollection of doing that because it was done again.
It's very offensive. Yeah, we can't, also when we're speaking to her, probably, we can't just, the way this woman works and how a lot of people work, you can't just speak to them dryly. You need to generate an emotional response so that certain layers of their brain become activated. If you don't activate those layers, you can't achieve the result. This is very key. This is the mastery program. If you're not doing that, you're on base level, and if you do it, you're at the apex. There's no in between here. So I'm just noting this. Next, so we're going to all see your position clearly somehow. Now, we haven't seen it already, so this is very arrogant and disrespectful to even think you're going to do something like this. She should be just crying and begging for 10 years straight. Then we'll think about, maybe you're okay with us. Maybe we're okay with you. Maybe. You know, you're not... Where's the payment? We haven't gotten enough payment in. Okay? Now, I think I would finish all the answers and give you my position on all the issues by the end of the week, Friday, Saturday, so we could discuss it next Sunday. Thereby, hopefully, we could close this chapter and move on with our lives. So the arrogance thinking, it's just going to be that simple. I'll tell you my story, and then, obviously, I'm fucking God. That's how right I am. So once I tell you my writings, everything will... So now, hopefully, we can move on. No. Once we destroy the crap you've written, you have nothing left to stand on, then what are you going to do? Now you have nothing left to do but cry. But they don't figure that part out. I don't know, she didn't take the injection, but she's an acupuncturist, so she might have rubbed against someone who got it, because she has the same disorder as the rest of them do now. The phantom fucking narcissism that washed over everybody after 2021.
I mean, I took it also, so.
Now, I don't know what happened to you. Maybe you're the exception. But most people on average, I could smell it in the air. I see it in everyone's face. It's the same thing. It's unbelievable. I don't know, dude. Well, look, we've heard a lot of crazy things. We know that the shot's been killing crazy amounts of people now. All this stuff's coming out. Sad stuff.
That's
very
neither
sad.
Here nor there.
I'm very... Huh?
Conversation.
What happened?
That's neither here nor there for this.
Oh yeah.
conversation
I am getting a little bit too far off. All right, so now what's the relevant point? All right, it doesn't matter what the cause is, or even if what the label of the personality disorder is. What matters is she's doing wrong, so therefore you're bad because you don't do wrong and get away with it. You must have punishment and consequences. It'll be from me tacitly or from God ultimately. You can't escape it. It will come. I feel it very strongly true. It's cooking now. It's in the oven. Stupid woman. But they all ask for it because they keep warning them and they keep not desisting. Anyway, another apology, bullshit. Now, whatever she wrote to me, guys, would it be okay if we do another time? Anthony, yeah. It's like, oh my God, literally she could be effectuating the same exact result, but if she changed her words a little bit, that would thereby show she's coming from a different substance, we would be reacting differently. We'd say, oh, good, respectful woman wants to ask if it's okay that we change. Oh, she says she still wants to meet. We'd say, we're really not happy about it because it's a waste of time, but she sounds genuinely remorseful and incapable of handling it well this week. We would probably let it be mostly a pass, or we would just hold her to account next weekend and make sure that she fucking properly finalizes the repentance and the remorse expression that we believe her, that she needs to be damn on track. No, this is just this arrogant, I'm telling you it won't work. Kill yourself. God tells you it works. You be quiet and be nothing and follow mindlessly. Then there's hope for you. This dumb world thinks they could think for themselves. It's not good. All right? Going back to the prior text, sorry, but there's a better way to do it. And then I have to ask you for details. This is stupefyingly, arrogantly disrespectful. Do this, do that. Keep writing whatever you want to write, man. As you hear it, just take it and run with it. We speak a little bit different languages, but when we speak together, it all comes together. Somehow, ultimately. And the original text she sent you this morning, the answers will clarify what the truth is, what's really going on. Yeah, we've been talking about it, and we've given her the floor multiple times to come in and justify or defend herself, but I know she can't, and you've seen that she has failed too. Nevertheless, we will find out what the issues are that she thinks she's going to bring up. Good. What's next?
No, the message she sent you, I guess, afterwards.
I'm getting very forgetful. And let me go back a little more and think. There's a lot of texting between you and I this morning because we were both very surprised. Oh no, her real original text to you. Look what she wrote. I will do this, what I will do. See, she doesn't ask you if it's fine to do. She just tells you, this is what I will do. I will deliver my responses in writing to you and him today. And then she has these elaborate ideas of what she's going to do, which are unrealistic and crazy. And she doesn't check in with us, which is nuts. I will leave one copy for him. I'll leave it at the door. And then I'll give you another. Ooh, yeah. Me and I could meet. Me and I. That's how much sense she's making. That she fucking writes, me and I are going to meet. Her multiple personalities, maybe. We'll meet in the front of the building at noon today. Or tomorrow. Why not tomorrow? She didn't check with us if we're free tomorrow. It's just gonna be tomorrow because she said so, you see? This is the craziness. Then she tells us, she doesn't ask, is it okay that no meeting takes place today? I need your permission. Let me know this is fine. No, she says, I am telling you, no meeting will take place today. She's declaring it like a god would declare it. Kill yourselves. Since I want you... Oh, she justifies it. Since... look at the wording here, Anthony. I'm going to read this verbatim. Listen. No meeting will take place today since I want you both. Oh, because I want something about what both of you are going to be doing or having. That's why I'm going to sabotagely control the whole thing, because you two are not where I want you to be. Huh? Since I want you both to be familiar with all the answers to the videos before meeting. Oh, so we can't meet during, you see, because she unilaterally declared it, even though she told us last week, of course, we're all meeting this week. You see how woman mind works? When Moshiach comes, there is going to be a payment. Shh. No more should be said about that for now, but boys, are going to be a payment. I have the final fucking things understood. You people are in trouble. It's all about paying the final prices, fucking idiots. They never understand what it is to repent in this world and to atone. They think more narcissism, more. Then she says, see, it's all about arrogantly reading from your own ideas. Next week, I will work the remaining disagreements from his videos, and then I'll write more answers. Oh, how about meeting with us so we could talk the way we said we would? See, that's called honoring. This way I will cover all the issues. Good. We want them all covered too. We're on the same side when it comes to that. But you don't do it your way by hijacking the plane because you want to fly the plane your route, break into the cockpit and throw us out. No. You make an agreement, then you are the slave to your agreement, and we are the gods over you in terms of you holding to the agreement you consented to. Because that's what we always are for each other naturally in life. Anytime people make an agreement, you're supposed to be bonded to your word. That's why they say your word is bond. Or you're a debtor, which is slave mentality, which is I break my word when I want, I do what I want, maybe I'm in honor, maybe I'm in dishonor, and then it doesn't really matter which one it is. And, you know, That's not sovereign mentality. That's not king mentality. That's, I'm going to do what I want, and screw you. So anytime you're in default mentality, karma comes to block you out. Is the ultimate rule of the universe. There's no escaping the master programming that comes from God to enforce correct morality on this earth the way we understand it. She continues, I will deliver them to both of you before the final meeting when we will discuss everything in one meeting. So now she's, oh my God, she's putting more of a decision. See, I thought we were supposed to meet multiple times. Of course we all do, because that's how we get more exposure time to speak. No, she wants to compact it into one meeting. Her new idea. Did she ask us if we like that idea? No, she unilaterally, she's acting like it's already the law, official. She's just letting us know. You see? She passed the law in secret chambers. She's God, didn't she realize? Anthony, what do you think so far?
I'm just writing down main points.
Thank you. Good. This is good.
But I'll screenshot it and send it to you, just so you can see if they're all right. But also, my phone's starting to die right now.
let's recharge and do all that before we proceed then. All right, let me finish this here. So she continues, then she explains to us why. See, again, she has to do the thinking for us, even though we prohibited her. Naturally, if you're the one who's supposed to be serving and in service, and I'm sorry, and I'm bowing, I'm coming to you, I'm kneeling, I'm crawling, I'm slithering like a snake, because that's what I am. So please step on me because I deserve it. See, that's good. You're supposed to love to pay. That's when we begin to love you more, because we see you're correctly aligning with being remorseful properly. Anything else is snake devil mentality. Now, but she explains, this way we will save time. Yeah, she explains us we will save time. No, you're wasting our time, but you're disrespectful to us. That's the biggest problem of the whole thing, is that, as Dr. Emerson Eggerichs well explained it, women need love, men need respect. But if you don't respect us, you're morally in dishonor to us, so you're actually karmically, sin-wise, you're wrong, and you get bad karma. God starts crushing you into little pieces, and you don't know why. It's because you didn't respect men in your life. That's why God's crushing you. It's very obvious. We all knew this for thousands of years, but then when you put chemicals in the water, they start to forget. Ah, convenient. Wonder who controls all this and why. That's a real side story. Anyway, we'll do all that instead of just talking, she says. Instead of just talking. So at first, listen, bitch, it's a fucking honor for you to, thank God you have the opportunity to talk. The day your life ends, figuratively speaking, where you're cut off from your son, functionally speaking, is the day that we're not interested in having you talk anymore. This isn't a welcome mat that you get to fucking tread your fucking dirty ass shoes on whenever you want. All right? So then she decides everything should be done. Like, I'm sorry, stupid woman, did we go to the stupidest one in our group to decide where to get our guidance from? Why the fuck would we do that? If we know we have superior brain models, why would we go lower to get your advice? You're blind, you don't realize you're blind. Huh? Anthony, did you let her know that we want to downgrade our intelligence by going to fucking her stupid ass? Never in the world. It never happened. Write as much down as you can. I'm in the good flow state, but I forget everything I say after it's been said. I can't even remember what the hell I'm saying. You're good with writing things down, and then we can remember like from that.
Point type things.
What is going on? Say again?
I said I'm writing like bullet point type things.
Perfect.
So.
This is good. All right. What's next? All right. Yeah. Also, when person talks, nobody should interrupt until it is done. Right, Barbara. Do you remember when you were interrupting me originally in my house when Sarah was with me? Ah. So now she agrees, but funny, it seems to be a one-way street. So she'll get upset when I interrupt her, but then she'll start interrupting me, and then I call her out on it, but then she'll keep doing it as if she doesn't understand. So it's a one-way entitlement. So, Anthony, call that out. That's a bullet point. Hypocrisy. What? You think you're not entitled to be a hypocrite. So if you yourself have been guilty of irresponsibly and repeatedly interrupting people, don't act like you're the victim of interruption. Please let them know how did... Wait, I gotta move this because I have so much crap on the screen right now. Please let them know how this will be... I think this says done. Can you see the original? Not this phone is fucking retarded. Oh. Anthony, I want to shoot this woman. If I get a gun, I'll be murdering people. I think. Because look at this shit. Please let him know how this will be done. My mind's blown repeatedly but endlessly. It will never end. He didn't tell me how it will be done. You're not God. You're the lowest. We laugh at you. I don't know how else to say this. I'm pretty much almost repeating myself now, so I think I'm mostly covered this. This is just sick, and I'm sick of it. You wouldn't be like to be treated this way either. There won't be meeting today. None of the meeting we had was productive, and this needs to be changed. Well, you know what? The best thing she had, actually, to her credit, was the substantive. See, look at. So this actually gives her away and reveals what her real character is. Anthony, would you agree that at least the appearance of what she put forward at the first meeting seemed to be a substantive gain and a foot forwards?
Yeah.
Right. Isn't that shocking that she wrote, none of the meetings we had were productive?
Maybe because it wasn't beneficial for her?
Ah, it's narcissism. Now you understand. It's only beneficial if she's winning. You understand it? It's not beneficial to a narcissist if she isn't winning. If she doesn't understand what it is to love somebody, she only wants to win, so therefore she has to die karmically or figuratively speaking. So enforcement is beautiful because God appointed us to do it. Funny stuff. Since Eve, they've been all like this, begging for correction, and then recently not even begging, they're so arrogant. I'm absolutely fucking stunned. You got to do my talking for me, because if I start talking, I might talk too much. I'm very angry. Anthony, if you saw she was substantively doing a good benefit by her disposition, the way she showed up on that first meeting, but 6 days later, you saw how she actually texted you and where her mind really was, huh? Okay. So it's all a fake. It's a front. She wants to smile fake because she's only concerned with how she looks, not what she's doing for you, dude. Slash the objective good of the world, that following God rules and drawing closer to God in that sense. Surprising because she grew up religious. What a boneheaded person. All right? Anthony, I'm going to read some things here. Let me see. Anthony, you said you texted her some stuff, right? Do you want to review anything you texted her to recall?
No, not really. Do you want me to screenshot this right now to send to you?
Yeah, as you like. Yeah. Good.
Actually, let me just copy and paste it because can't get this one.
All right. Anthony, let me hang up right now. Let me make sure that things are supposed to be going as they're supposed to be going with the things that's running now. And then let me call you right back, and then we'll jump from there.
Alright, yeah, you can see the battery life on the thing if you want from the messages as well.
Well, thank you. Yo, you're a brother. Thank you. You're good. God bless you. Hey, dude, you're blessed. You'll be receiving good things in this life. That's for you. To your heart. You understand?
Thank you.
Good. For you, my brother. For you, my friend. Very good. Love you. Thank you. I talk soon.
Let me know if you think those points are, as a bullet point, those are fine or not, but yeah.
Okay.
Alright.
Bye, bro.
Take care.
The specific points that Anthony had written down and prepared for the conversation that we would be looking to inevitably have with my mother on a conference call later that day include these following points here. Number one, the apparent inconsistency about exactly why this postponement needed to take place by her estimation. One moment she wants to provide a letter to us that she apparently has ready that very morning and afternoon, that day for sure. All of a sudden it changes, and the emphasis changes as she realizes that the narrative that she wants to bolster ought to have a different emphasis. Convenient. That's essentially what number one is showing. Number two, the inauthenticity of her apologies. Many times she even wrote not only apologies or sorry, but she wrote, "I'm sincerely apologizing," while the duplicitous double talk and double standard remains, as you could say. It wasn't really a sincere apology at all. It's not sincere because she's not actually sorry for it. It's just she thinks those are words you repeat in life just to say the words. It makes no sense. You're not understanding with the context why you use that word in life. Strange stuff. Number three, If you're agreed with a group of people to meet, unless it's an emergency, you don't, the worst thing in the world you do is roll up to other people and start telling them, as if I have the authority, I'll be telling you how we're going to be changing your meetings. Lady, these are our meetings. We're the creators of these meetings. They're our product. Who do you think designs them? So who the hell are you to do? When you're repentant to us, you come to our house, so to speak. That goes without saying. Now, number 4, disregarding the previous message and stuck to canceling. Even though Anthony warned her, and even though I had warned her, this was the second time she was doing this within a few months, it's arrogant, it's hard-headed. Number 5, this was tying into that, what I just said, it's a second cancellation after acknowledging it was already bad to cancel before, so she reneged on her previous atonement. So we reject her apology from her first thing that she admitted to us during the second meeting was, quote, it was irresponsible, she admitted. And yet she's doing the same kinds of things again. If it was irresponsible to take it upon yourself to follow your own thought pattern, why would you go again back to retreat into your own thought pattern and think, this time my thought pattern's good? If it wasn't good the first time, it's not good at any time. Basically, or for sure, you should be having reasonable doubts about your own competence. That's the most important insight to get about all this. Number 6, it's obviously insulting and disrespectful to just cancel and decide what we'll be doing, as I hinted before. Number 7, canceling because she wants us to read, because her unilateral ideas are more important than the ideas we have. See? That's showing us her shit's more important than our framework. Ah, the arrogance. Not with men, you don't. Men are God. Get it. Number 8, she decided there will be only one more meeting. We don't know why. We don't know why she worded some of the things that she even worded. It seemed to be almost a shot in the dark and arrogant to do these things without checking in with us by consent to see if we like what she's doing. That's what you're supposed to in life. Number 9, the message comes off as disrespectful and arrogant. Of course it does. Number 10, hypocritical when it comes to interruptions. Indeed she was, as we mentioned already just recently now. And as 10 and number 11, she says, very funny, contradicting herself, or at least the appearance, contradicting the appearance of things. She seemed very happy to be sitting with us that first time. By Anthony's witnessing, it seemed to be fine. It also seemed to be fine by my eyes, but my eyes see well, so I even warned Anthony. He said, wow, this was really great. I said, it only looks great. I promise you that it's almost certain you're going to see a sudden reversal of her underlying nature that becomes expressed from her. And then it's like a snake skin where the snake skin will be shed and the old shell will be left out. He didn't believe it until he saw it, and I was like, oh, wow. Surprise, surprise. Very, very funny. He continues the list. Number 12, she insisted that cancellation is best, as if she's entitled to tell us what's best. We don't look to her to determine reality. We look to our clearer eyes, which do a better job. I would never consult that woman about reality, ever. You're useless for that. Your job as a woman is to make people feel good, not to give them vision. Why the fuck would I use your eyes for my glasses in life? I would do that if I want to become blind. Number 13, the letters could have been brought to the meeting, obviously. So her failure to realize alternative suggestions that were more dignifying to us was an insult to us as a separate matter, because at least if there's some kind of more reasonable compromises, your steps down, so to speak, should be more prudent. So the imprudence of just shooting over the rainbow to the pot of gold you're imagining is there in your own mind's eye is the arrogant thing. 14, meetings are suspended due to another unjust cancellation. Oh, this is Anthony's point actually about what's going to happen. He's right. We adopt this position for sure. Unless there's a real apology, the meetings are going to be suspended. You don't cancel our meetings for us and then later walk up to us whenever you feel like it. An opportunity will be taken away from you. And one final point that I had suggested to Anthony is that, listen, by the way, just so that you understand, I myself did a lot of work. I had about 15 points of my own saved for the conversation for this day, the Sunday that's relevant here, that we were supposed to be discussing, which could have, of course, been helpful for us attaining bringing ourselves closer to some mutual understanding. That's what talking does. Such what she wrote, like saying, what happened? Confused. Man, what was I saying here? Oh yeah, we understand. All right, I was precluded from having that opportunity. Why should that opportunity be taken away from me? Who could justify that reasonably? My mom's position is she's the least on rank. That's the lowest person who has the lowest power to do what she does. But she inverts it. She thinks she has the highest power to do so. That's the cuckoo-ness of it all. So Anthony and I decided to get on a call with my mother later that evening. Whereas normally I upheld the policy of not really speaking directly to my mom. Here we wanted to absolutely make sure that there's some additional accountability here taking place. So I texted her myself and said, Anthony and I will call you at 7 p.m. to briefly discuss the matter. We strongly advise that you be available for a short call. We both feel that we are owed a more fuller explanation on what you've done today. Okay? In response to this, what kind of response would we expect to see from somebody who's got a normal, healthy, empathic, and motherly loving calibration? Probably, oh, okay, that's if that's what you guys want, all right, I understand, maybe you guys aren't so happy about it. I understand that. If I was in your shoes, maybe I wouldn't like that either. So, but we could talk about it. I just want to make sure that you guys feel better. Do you see how that's the ultimate and primary concern of any normal, good-hearted person? Is that the person in my mother's shoes, if they were correctly calibrated, they would want to make sure we are feeling better. Let's see what she actually wrote back. Hi. I think the best way to deal with this situation is to have... So already she's trying to explain, justify, argue. That's debtor mentality, not creditor mentality. You already understand this. It's so easy to see. Is to have specific answers to your videos. Right, we agreed that there should be. That doesn't necessitate the cutting off of meetings. That doesn't preclude the continuance of our own meetings the way we had set them to go. So who made that up? That's not correct. All right, and no one asked you for your opinion besides. Nor did you ask us if this was okay. But she's trying to explain to us that as if, again, the authoritative thing she thinks she's got. Then we will all read this. So, and then she really is telling us what we will do. She doesn't say we should, or could we, or we would do it if we were doing it. No, it's just that you will, we will, you will. It's control freak shit. Very ugly looking stuff. Not correctly calibrated heart chakra. Bad. Then we will all read them, and then we'll meet only one time. Who the hell said that? We never agreed to that. Actually, I remember my mom stating in the original meeting, very, at a better level of analysis, she was saying, guys, we'll be meeting every week. We'll meet as long as it takes. We'll meet as long as it takes. We'll come back and keep meeting until we get closer and closer over time to a better understanding, because that's obviously what it takes. So, did we agree that we want to consolidate everything into one meeting? Right, so if we didn't, why are you telling us that that's what's going to happen? We will read them. We will meet only one time. So that's disgusting. Anyone looking at this matter would be like, yeah, that is disgusting. Because that's not what you do if you're a human being who's moral in society. Very easy. So She furthermore tells us why we are to bow to her as the new controller, which we never gave her authority to control or consent. She just steps in and wants to rule, which is sick. She's telling us it makes no sense to me. She's telling us nothing gets solved. She's repeating herself, number one, but to still think that. And by the way, does this answer honor what we said? Look up here again. I said we're going to call you at 7 to discuss the matter over the phone. Using the phone generally is better than using text. So if we say we want to defer to a phone call, is it respectful to say, okay, we'll hold the conversation so that we could better understand each other over a live conversation? No. She wants to get in everything through text after I just said we're going to be talking over the phone about these things. It's all, every layer of it is disregard after disregard after disregard. Antagonization, and on. She continues, it's just a waste of everybody's time. Disgusting. But if you think so, then for sure. See, the ultimate thing is, without a repentance from you, then there won't be any more meetings. It's not going to be one more, it'll be 0 more. It's all disgusting. Good thing Anthony's witnessed this. Good thing hopefully many others will be witnessing this too, by extension, on account of this matter not being resolved with at least one witness. She says, I did a lot already, but I will, meaning her own things. I think that's good. We're really looking forward to actually carefully seeing everything she has to say that involves these direct issues between me and her. Those things she's entitled to write about. Good, she should be doing that. She's not entitled to delay our meetings, no, but she's entitled to write these things, and we're eagerly looking forward to seeing these things because we want to address them and solve them. See the difference in mindset? I did a lot already. I'll try to cover the majority of things which I don't want. They are correct. Maybe she's saying she doesn't believe that certain things are correct that I've claimed. Well, we'll see once the substance is fleshed out better. She doesn't agree with the things I say, she's saying. Right. Well, good thing everyone's looking objectively to see, like a judge. One hand, other hand, what's the evidence pointing to? Who's right and who's wrong? It's very clear. She'll continue on. Hopefully we solve our problems. Right. Well, solving the problems can only, in the ideal solution to the problem involves the wrongdoer fully being remorseful and apologizing. It doesn't seem that the actual wrongdoer of this situation is remorseful. So we can't get the ideal solution, okay? The second place solution, that's the second best thing, but it is the alternative solution. The only other one is that we have to correctly cut you off and ostracize you, and you're banned from our interactive experience in life because you're unrepentant. That's our obligation, to enforce the ban. And to publicize the reasons why you're banned. You don't get to ban someone in life, as Jesus said, unless you've publicized the matter why someone's being banned. So if you're not following Christ, if you're the part of the Christian paradigm, or even the Judeo-Christian paradigm as a greater whole, again, still almost completely roughly consistent stuff. We continue. Hopefully if we solve our problems. If not, we'll take it from there. We'll take what from where? So she's saying we'll meet one time, and then she's saying we'll take something from there. Lady, either we're meeting one time or we're meeting as long as it takes. None of this makes sense. It's all confused talk. That will be the best way to solve our differences. She's telling us what the best way is going to be. We get more arrogance. She's not, I think this is the best way. She says, I'm so confident that I'll just declare it is. It's the first time you're ever shown to be wrong. No one will ever take you seriously again. But you've been shown wrong dozens of times, hundreds of times. No one takes you serious. We already know you're blind and essentially delusional, which is actually amazing. The more I see this, the more it becomes obvious. And the only thing I responded with, because this is nuts to be texting about, be available to talk at 7 with Anthony and I. That's it. Man has spoken. All bow now. Good. Moreover, turning to Anthony to let him know rightly and inform him of what's going on here, we see that within the conversational thread between Anthony and me, I include these screenshots to let him know what's going on. And of course, what's my accompanying reaction to this? It's, of course it is. It's a mind blow. It blows the reasonable man's mind that any woman is speaking like this, especially his mother, because the mother should be the most dutiful, yin-like, female programming entity who is programming him, by contrast, to be empowered correctly so that the world is balanced according to God's plan. Do you understand that balance? If you break that balance, you're going against God. You're going with Satan. Not good. But here's what else. Here's what else. I tell Anthony through this next screenshot, of course, what we just showed you, what my response to our message was. But then what happened, guys? Let's go back to the original thread between my mom and I. Here we are. Again, what would a normal woman say if you were normally programmed? You say, okay, all right, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you. And I'm glad for the opportunity to be speaking with you later. And I'll miss you, my son. You're my son, so I'm going to acknowledge you and always bow to you and defer to you because I'm honoring you. Because a woman is always supposed to honor man and yang energy. Now, you know what she says? In my opinion, this idea is brilliant. And it should have been done long ago. She's here to correct us, you see? That's her campaign in her mind. With the thread with Anthony, here I am sharing this response of hers, and that is not just one mind blow, that's much mind blow. It's horrifying. That is a natural reaction. More cluster B. Her flagrantly offensive, disrespectful, and borderline outright abusive conduct today is actually, from her standpoint, totally really brilliant, okay? It's brilliant, that idea. And it should have been taken, she should have controlled it a long time ago, right? Of course, yeah, as if we've been waiting for her, the offender, to actually rescue us. The criminal's gonna come rescue us to make it more the criminal's way, right? From our blindness as victims. No, we're supposed to, it's gaslighting. We're supposed to accept the criminal's behavior. It's good, huh? Sick. Thank God our goddess in shining armor has arrived, right? That's who she thinks she is? This is the craziness of it all, guys. Boom, and what's his answer? He says, dude, she didn't even respond to me. Huh. Well, at least you got an answer. But, of course, he's even more indignant now. More and more offense this woman's piling up. It's very ugly. Shame on her. Shame. And I just calmly remind him, look, no problem, don't worry about it. She's just acting out. It's all part of the deficit programming that is part of her psyche. Okay? All right, and then I link to an interesting video. You guys can watch this if you want. Kind of reminds me of what most women are like deep down inside in their true nature. Go check that out on your own time if you like. It's very interesting. Anyway, shortly afterwards, we set up. 7 o'clock arrives, and we make the call. This was a part 1 video. We're going to, finally at this cliffhanger moment, introduce the actual conversation with my mother and my friend Anthony, what went down and what was said. But that's gonna be in the next part 2. However, just before we get to that conversation, as soon as we enter part 2, right beforehand, we're going to take a look in order to establish what the reasonable expectations are for how people ought to be interacting with each other. We're going to turn to the man who is a longtime pastor, who has a doctorate in family relations, and who's one of the highest experts on this matter, Dr. Emerson Eggerichs. Some of the most key insights from some of his top videos regarding what proper expectations are between godly expectations between the feminine gender and the masculine gender.